Alright, what's going on, everybody?
Let's build some amplifiers. Do y'all even know what they do? Do you know how many amps they draw? Do you know how much voltage they need?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the weekend. I got to slide these videos in earlier here. A lot of people might not catch it live, but it's all good. We're going to demonstrate this box here shortly. Hang in here. Let's see people line up in these rooms here. It looks like I got 6 Facebookers, a couple of YouTubers. Thanks for joining me. Hang with me, and we'll get going here in a minute. Albert Vincent, what's happening, buddy? Snake in the bayou. Yeah, this is a really pretty box. So we'll get going on this video here. Let me unplug a few things. Let me open a few things. Well, before I do that, set this up. Alright, guys, thanks for joining me. Middle of the afternoon. Got Molly down here chilling out with her tomahawk bone and seal. So this box was built, I built it back in 2017 for a guy, and the guy that had it commissioned built, there was actually another unit that was green like this, and I think it was a 4 transistor, straight 4 transistor unit. I think they got separated, and this one found its way back to me. This one here found its back way to me, and it was blown up, and the transistors were not in horrible shape, but they weren't in the best shape. So real quick, just to show you guys, there's quite a bit solder. When you remove transistors and you do a rebuild, you should have quite a bit of solder. This is probably about 80% of what I pulled out. So what's going on, Annie? Sister in here. So we can look at the transistors and how they blew out. We lost the emitters on both of these units that went out here, but the HFE, even though we use a little atlas, it gives you a little idea of what's going on with them. But that said, you had a 5, a 4, a 6, it went out. That caused a lot of problems over here, and they're primarily pretty balanced out here as 5, 5, 4, 5. So when these transistors, these stages play off each other, they're on and off, they turn on and off, on, off, on, off. And that's how it works in a 4-pill stage. So two will be on at the same time, 2 will be off. And so on, it cycles. But after they do their work there, and then you go to a combiner, and you'll have 4. This is a 16-pill. So the gains, they're lower. These were standard 2879s. And again, this was back in 2017 I built this. This unit was ran pretty, not a lot I wouldn't think, but enough. And the way how he ran it was he had problems because he had a failure of a piece of coax. Coax, you have to understand about coax, everybody. It's very, very important that you get the coax system right on your system, because if you don't, it's kind of like having that broken shoelace. You just can't quite make that bow. You have to pull out a loop, and you're shortcutting somewhere to try to make it happen. You really don't want to do too much of that shortcutting stuff when it comes down to making your amplifier run properly. So follow a couple simple rules, you'll be successful. And you don't always need all these meters. But we'll take a look at the inside of this one here real quick. So I took out all the 2879s, redid the circuit, and put 2879Cs in this unit. Now this was before I went and started doing color on the board. So this was a copper board, and that really just goes to show you how nice and clean this board is because of the filters that was on the fan kit. Now when I got this unit, the filters were gone, and you can clearly see, I haven't cleaned the fan kit, but you can clearly see that air that's just was gathered on those fans simply because the filters were gone. Now he probably removed the filters because they're 10 times worse than what you'd see right there on that fan. So the filters actually did a good job, And because you can see I didn't blow this unit out. So the filters did a job, and the really fine dust really stuck to the fan blades. So that just needs to be cleaned up. But the filters, if you have these filter guards that I use with, and the material goes bad, you can simply just go to Amazon and get it, and it's a replacement filter for an air conditioner unit, like a window unit, I should say. So with that said, that's the filtration system, and I did put new filters in the unit, and they are out of the same material. So box is all redid, ready to go. And we're going to go and look at a couple different drive levels on this unit. Real quick, I'll pop off. This is what I was talking about, the filters. So pretty much it came to me like this, with just the top cover on there, like this. All right, so the filters were removed. This is a replacement filter. Like I said, I just bought a roll of it online and just took and laid it out with a tape measure and hard ruler or straight edge and made some cuts. And you can just replace them and pop it right back down. So that's the way how that system works. It's been true to me for years. I love the filter grills. They work great. So not about all of that. Let's take a look at this. Now we're going to run this unit here at 15.6 or 7 on a big power supply, and we got a little zippy in here. I had to pull him out of my truck, and so he's going to be back down all the way. Not going to ever even have to come back over here and turn it up or anything. So we're going to take and go ahead and get going with this. Now I'm going to run my radio a little bit low. What's going on, Kenny Price? I'm going to run my radio kind of low right now because that's how I'm going to control my drive level. So I'm going to control mostly my radio to control everything that's going to go into this box. So let's just take a look at the drive level where I'm at, and we're going to do some calculations of drive per transistor, because now this is the thing. I have to preach a lot about drive to the standard 2879s in South Jersey line. Now these are the C's. They actually require drive, but you have to take and use this information in the same format as I'm using them as if it was a standard 2879 or any other transistor that I'm talking about drive level. So at the end of all of this, we're going to just simply follow some rules and see where we land and see what that peak is going to do. Then the peaker tweakers in this world, y'all got to slow down with yourselves. You're going way too fast. All right, it's a wonderful number to know that you can fill up, but you can fill this number up really, really fast with really, really low drive because it's a peak number. Now the filler, or the RMS, is what's going to happen as I increase my radio voltage. That'll help the performance of my radio, and then I'm going to increase my drive by just simply increasing my radio voltage to increase my drive level, because I have the amplifier turned all the way down. So it's the lowest I can get. All right, so here we go. We're going to just look at the driver real quick. Take a look at the slugs. We're going to look at 25 watt input reflect slug, and this is a 16 pill. Driver maybe 8 pill or 12 pill. All right, so moving on, for I won't get sidetracked here, guys. 25 watt slug and a 1000 watt slug is what we're going to look at for the input reflection communications between my driver and this 16 pill, and then 1000 watts going to show my driver. Now real quick, I'm running a half a wavelength from my radio, half a wavelength of coax to that driver right over there, and then I'm running a quarter wavelength, 6 foot quote unquote, from that driver to the input of the 16. So it's 12, 6, and then 12 off to my antenna, or a half a wavelength. All right, here we go. This is the driver. Let's take a look at this 1000 watt slug and let's see what little bit of power we're going to drive into this unit. Audio, H line is 20, audio. So about 240 watts RMS is what we're going to put into it. And let's see if the peaker tweaker watts want to tell me what I'm doing, peaking and tweaking. So 800 or so, 825. And let's see what it's over here, audio. That one's a little on the different side of that. All right, here we go. So down here, 2500 and 5000 in both carriages. This is digital Dave. This is the analog over here. So let's take a peek and a gander. We're going to just look at the Dave and make it a lot easier for you guys here. This is supposed to be a quick video. Here's my drive level working. All right. Audio. So that 240 watts is really there. Input reflection, 25 watts. Each line's a half. Audio. about 2.5. Here is the digital, and let's go to RMS first, and we're not going to see tons of power. Audio, 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 1, 2, audio, 1, 2. So 1500 watts there. See, it's 5 kilowatt, 100 watts of line, audio, 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 audio. It's trying, it's just not there. It wants more drive. You've seen how that needle kind of fluttered a bit. Well, let's take a look at the analog peaker tweaker here real quick. Here's a 5 kilowatt peaker and a tweaker, 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 audio. So it's showing about 1750. Audio, peaker, tweaker, tweaker, tweaker. All right, and we are okay. Audio, peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker. So 38, 3800 peak. What am I looking at up here? I was looking at the wrong scale. Audio, peaker, tweaker, 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 tweaker. 35, 36 up on that one. So that's that little bit of drive. Now keep those peaker tweaker numbers in mind, because I'm going to increase the drive now and fill it up. I'm going to fill up the RMS, and this is just like just pouring a shot. You carefully take and don't spill it. Don't go over. Don't. You got to get her in, man. And once you're there, you're there. All right, let's take a look at the amps real quick and the volts. Audio, amperage, audio, audio, audio. Oh, 190, 99. Let's look at the volts here real quick. Audio, 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 15.6. So that drive level. Look at this real quick. That drive level, where are we at? Audio, 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 audio. That's 1,000 watt slug. Bond scale, 20 is 200. Each line's 20. Audio, audio, audio. So 240. So we had 240 of drive, and we divide that simply by 16. That's only 15 watts per transistor in the 2879Cs. Now, taking you look at those numbers at the C's, well, you got 2 more mouths to feed the inside of a C. Right there, it's got, oh, that's a 4. All right, here's a standard right here. It's only got 4 of those chips in there. Yeah. All right, and here's a C. You got 2 more mouths to feed right here. You got to feed 2 more mouths right there. You got 6 chips. So, and each one's like considered 25 watts peak. So that's 50 watts peak more. Yeah, well, let's get some. We're filling them up pretty easily though, with just a little bit of drive. Audio drive, audio drive, audio drive, 240. And here is your peaker, 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 3800, 3850. But the RMS is just, it's slow and it's low. Audio, 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 audio. So 12, 1300, yeah, it's loafing. If somebody wanted to take and do and run a box like that, you will do very well, but you can do a little better if you had just that little bit more drive. So let's just shut this off, get a baseline real quick. Audio baseline, audio, audio. So the 240s touch over right there. So let's just move on up and say we're going to go up to good output of this unit, and right there, 14.3. Cool now. Let's see where we're at. Audio, audio, audio. So wow, that just really brightened that amplifier up quite a bit. Now I'm at 340 watts RMS. Now, I probably should check this earlier, but here's your peak. We saw it earlier. Audio peak, audio peak, audio peak. So I picked up about 125 watts more peak by taking and increasing just my radio, and I didn't touch the amplifier with it. So now I have a better radio. It's going to drive. It's making more power. So if we say, this is probably where we're going to land, so I'm going to predict it. So if we say we're at 300 watts, divide that at 16 times, that's going to be 18.75 watts per transistor. Now they're going to start to wake up. Why is it going to wake up? Because we're filling it in. The RMS is getting filled. The peak will only come up a little bit more. It's going to follow, and then it's going to run out. Why is it going to run out? Because it's going to run out of, it's got enough drive, but it don't have enough voltage to make more power. So you'll be maxing out your drive very shortly, because we're already approaching our 20 watt mark pretty quickly, and we can simply make that happen and get it up to 20, no problem. So let's take a peek again. Drive level, audio, 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 audio. So our 320. So let me set a carrier. No, I have to. Yes, sir, I do. One more time. That will work. Okay. Now, working drive. Audio, 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 audio. There's our 300 like I predicted. Input reflection, audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still beautiful at 2.5, maybe 3. And here's your RMS. Now where we were at was 14 something. Audio, 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 audio. So now we're making our 1675. We're really producing and tracking really well as far as how this thing's putting out. We were making 3,800 watts peak before. So let's just see where we're at now. Audio, 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 no, it's 28, I'm sorry, and now we're at 3,000 peak. So does this amplifier have more peak in it? Sure, I'm sure it does. By taking and giving that little bit more drive. Because we're at 1875, so if I simply take and have to go up just a touch, I mean that's a touch, a couple tenths of a volt. Let's see if we make a little bit more drive. Audio, audio. All right, there's 320. So now what happened to my 1875 at 300? So we're at 320 now. Now we're at 20 watts per transistor. Now it's full. It's not max, but it's full. I'm telling you, it's full. This is how, if somebody wants to be careful and say, oh, you still got a little headroom, all right? There's 20 watts. Work. Audio, 320. Input. Audio, went up a little bit. Now, did my peak increase? Probably not. Audio, audio, audio. Nope, don't look like it didn't. Now, RMS, did it increase? Audio, audio, audio. Sure did, hit 1800. All right, now, if I'm on analog, this is a digital, just to give it a fair shake. Audio, 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 it's 1800. I can live with that. Let's see what the peaker tweaker says up here. What do you say, peaker tweaker? I don't know. Peeking and tweaking all day long. Audio, audio, audio. About 36. There's other ways you can increase this peak. Just have a little bit more to it. But with utilizing how I'm running this box and how I'm running my radio, you're only going to get so much peak. At the end, the box is running really, really good. It does have a sideband delay on it. If you are a sidebander, just remember, you don't need all that drive. Probably about 100 watts to get you to the moon and back. So, meaning drive into, let's say, the 16. So, keep that in mind. Watch your drive levels, guys. The C's are a lot more forgiving than the standard 2879s. They are still a really good pill, and they still are very, very available. Unlike some other things that are unavailable, and they won't be available for a while. And that was talking about some new product that hadn't happened yet. So, we all know it took a lot of drive to make those things actually work. So if you're a guy that don't want to take and have an 8 pill for an 8 pill to drive, that's probably not going to be the transistor for you. So let me get out of here. Y'all take care. Where's Molly at? Oh, she's over here cuddled up with Brownie. What you doing? You come here a second. Molly, come here. Come here. Come here. See what Dad got. What's going on? You gonna sit? You gonna say hi? Molly, you gonna say hi? You waving? Here? You get that, huh? Yeah? What'd you do today? You been hanging out? Feeling a little better? Yeah? How's things? How's things? You good? Say hello? Yes? Then what? What, you trying to wave again? What's up? You gonna tell me about it? Did the box run pretty good? Yeah? Okay. We got one over here. You gonna catch this one? There you go. You're like a ninja. You know that? You're like a ninja. So, all right, Molly. You gonna wave? You gonna wave? Say bye-bye and wave. Molly, you say bye-bye. Hey, bye-bye. Wave. Hey, bye-bye. There you go. All right. You ready to get the kitty? You ready to do it? Let's go. Let's go get him. Bigger butt. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Again, this was a reworked box. I built it to begin with. It was pretty well taken care of until you got a bad deal on a piece of coax. So, you guys, if your coax is fairly old, it's kind of crunchy, Might want to think about getting some new stuff actually tuned up on frequency. It helps a lot. It truly does. But as you can see, I signed this box back in 2017. So I'll re-hit that and put redo 2026. So there you have it. Tried and true. I'm going to try to clean this fan kit up just a little bit for him. Got new filters in it, so there you have it. Nice little unit. Alright, I'm out of here. Take care. God bless. Rolling to the left.